Uncharted Play is a social enterprise with a pretty simple mission. We aim to make the world a better place and address real issues through play. Our flagship product, as you just saw, is the socket, and it's our version of a renewable product that basically builds on the way people like to live their lives and the fun things that people like to do. So if there's one thing really that we want you to take away from our presentation, it's that a human-centered approach to renewable energy is probably the most holistic and dynamic approach that there can be. Understanding not just the product and what you're trying to produce for someone, but that actual person's experiences, how he or she engages with himself or herself, his environment, his friends, his family. And that was what was able to basically guide us in the development of the socket. Our process specifically can be summarized in 3 points. First, we care. As a social enterprise, everything we do is rooted in an issue that we feel very strongly about. Next, we embrace. So the idea then isn't to choose an issue and focus on the negative. It's to take a few steps back and actually embrace the entire culture of the people experiencing these issues. Here, when we focus in Latin America and in Africa on reliable power issues, it's about stepping back and saying, while they may not have reliable access to power, they seem to love this game called football. They seem to play it a lot. They play it with things that aren't even soccer balls. They're doing this right. So rather than focus on the negative, we build from the positive and amplify. Building on an existing love of soccer, we decide to actually harness that kinetic energy that's generated during play, store it inside of a ball, and give people an eco-friendly power source. Now, to kind of take you through the process a bit more, Julia will actually show you a bit about our care and embrace periods.
As the chairwoman mentioned, we're talking today about processes and how to actually translate ideas, so we really do want to share with you what our story was, so bear with us. We're going to go nostalgic for a second. So this was our initiation of the care phase, although we did not know it was that at that point. We both had experience going into the class when we were at Harvard in developing contexts. I was focusing on sub-Saharan Africa for my studies, so I had lived and done research in villages and slums in Tanzania, Kenya, and Jessica is Nigerian, so she's had the experience of going back to the village for the weddings and everything like that. So what we had seen when we were in these communities was, as Jessica mentioned, not only this very tangible love for soccer, football, whatever we'll call it, football for today since we're in the islands, I guess, and we also saw in equal measure a lack of access to electricity. In fact, as the statistics say, about 1/5 to 1/4 of the world has no access to on-grid electricity whatsoever. So that is the kind of gap that needs to be filled. There's the huge market there for not just long-term infrastructural solutions, but immediate access to off-grid potential energies and renewable resources. So one of the reasons that we picked up and cared about this need for energy access is also because of the dangerous alternatives. In a lot of cases, it's burning biomass, such as kerosene, which is dangerous not only for one's health, respiratorily, and it's like smoking 2 packs of cigarettes with one night's exposure to the fumes from a kerosene lamp. It's also expensive. In a lot of countries, a family can spend up to 30% of their income just on kerosene. And further, there are burn issues, things like that. A lot of accidents can happen. So this was the need that we also saw.